I'm Pieter Obels. I'm a sculptor and I live and work in the Netherlands. I create these steel sculptures by myself in my studio without using any models or designs. So it's like a plant in your garden that has its own, looks for its own way to grow and to curl into each other. This makes it for me very exciting because at the beginning of the day I don't know exactly what I'm going to make at the end of the day. I like about working with Corten steel because unless you think it's very hard and stubborn, for me it feels like clay. I try to make this hard and stubborn steel and form it into something soft, gentle and organic. And I found, that's with steel, is that you can work very fast with it. In making something in clay and you bend it, you have to wait and dry and bake it and put it in the oven because before you have a form. The nice thing about steel is when you bend it, you've got something. And being impatient, I could work kind of fast. What I like especially about sculpturing is that you contain space. So you have to walk around and look around, and that's something I do all day. I walk around. When I work in my studio, I walk around it all the time to see if every angle I'm happy with the angle of the sculpture I'm making. A sculpture never has one view. I always think in a sculpture it has 1,000 views because when you walk around, when you close one eye and open it, a lot of things change. And that's the part I like especially about sculpting, that I have to be very active myself in creating and walking and building the sculpture. When I go to my studio, like a real Dutchman, I cycle, and at that moment I feel being outside, see the seasons change, and I see the trees change, and I see the plants grow. In the beginning there's nothing, so it really influences me to see all these things around me, and it's impressions that I take with me to my studio, because when a tree grows it reacts on the weather, on the wind, on everything around it. When a climbing plant curls around him to make himself, and that's things I see, and that's things I take with me in my head. But when I'm at work, it's just the sculpture and me, and I react on the things that I do. When I work on with the Corten steel, the steel is shiny because it needs to be clean to weld it. And so during the process I've got a big shiny sculpture, and it really starts to live. It gets this real nice patina when it's outside, when it's raining, when it gets this color. Then the harsh industrial steel changes more in something organic. What I like about the Corten steel is that it's not only one color. It changes during rain, sun, when it dries up, or in the winter when it's cold and freezing, then you get nice white textures. So the thing I like about the Corten steel is that it changes with nature, with weather. So it's kind of more organic, like iron, a natural material. We use it for something industrial, but we find it in the ground and we change it to something. So when it starts to rust, it gets this original color again. That's what I like about it. About time, it gets its own life. It's not part of me directly anymore. Well, what I like about this Corten, the color of the material, it's mostly used outside because it has a nice duration, but the coloration is most important. But when you put it in the garden, you have a very nice green surrounding. There's a nice contrast in the work and the steel color. I like the question about dialogue when I'm talking to him, and he says that my sculptures, he gets emotional. Well, it gets him in the heart. When he sees my sculptures, the feeling I put in, he feels back. So it's not something I'm doing when I'm in my studio, but it's nice to have my works outside, to meet people, to see people watching my art, getting a dialogue, and that's a nice thing that my sculptures are with me to tell my story.